Did you wash your pussy today? Did you wash your pussy today? Did you wash your pussy today?
A new body wash has come out for all of us fat females. It's called Fupa Cleaner.
Let's talk about wiping, because I can't fit it all the way up to my hoo-ha. I can't.
Fat people problems. Do you know what I hate? You know when you're touching your belly and you go give yourself a little like scratch in the belly button and you saw your finger after, it smells like sticky shit.
I gotta take a bath. It stink.
Oh god, I think I'm gonna throw up.
I'm hungry.
There's no way that's gonna happen.
Fat girl fall. It's coming.
That was embarrassing. I really hope you're embarrassed.
Okay, what's the fattest thing you ever did?
Hey everyone and welcome back to my channel. I know you all are pretty grossed out by that last clip and I sincerely apologize. Like I know some of you might be eating and stuff, but it was necessary. Well, not really, but I wanted to put it in anyway for dramatic effect. Plus I felt like y'all should see it since I had to. I wasn't about to be the only one haunted by the image of him smelling those armpits. Anyway, now that you've all forgiven me, we're gonna tackle the topic of fat hygiene today. It's pretty sad, but a lot of people think that fat people are super smelly, so some fat people have been trying really hard to convince everyone that it's not true. I'm not gonna lie, I've come across some really stank skinny people in the past, but I've also had a lot of fat people fry my nostrils. So having said that, we're gonna take a look at some videos from fat people talking about their personal hygiene and explore the apparent misconception of them being stinky most of the time. But before we start, if you're enjoying the video so far, please hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't already. I'm really trying to grow my channel, so I'd appreciate it if you'd help me reach 2,000 subscribers. Now let's get into this video, so go grab a family-sized meal and a diet soda because I'm about to start the video.
So there's this trope that fat people have bad hygiene. So let's talk about it and talk about how, intentionally or not, you fell into a fatphobic trap.
I honestly don't think this person was being fatphobic with this comment. It's a factual statement that can apply to just about anyone. But just for context, this comment was in response to another user, under a plus-size woman's video about how she worked on her self-esteem. The commenter simply said, along with confidence, hygiene is a huge reinforcement for confidence. Taking care of yourself physically and emotionally has a lot of benefits. There's nothing about that statement that screams fatphobia to me. But what seemed obvious is that she's clearly triggered by something that wasn't even directed at, or tied to fat people in any way. A wise man once said, if it don't apply, let it fly. I'm assuming she's never heard that saying because she 100% made that about fat people.
This isn't about you.
This trope ends up getting kind of popularized by some old Chris Farley characters, as well as popularly by Kevin from The Office.
I doubt that a few fictional characters spread across a couple of decades has anything to do with people believing that fat people have the tendency to be unhygienic or unkempt. I think a lot of rational and logical people stem their opinions and beliefs from personal experience. To assume that a character played in a movie possesses enough of an impact to create stereotypes out of thin air seems a little funny to me.
Fat people are put in ill-fitting clothing, they look a little unkempt, and there's this trope that fat men particularly are just like overly sweaty, which is true for some men, but also for like anyone. There are just people with overactive sweat glands.
She's right. Some thin people do have overactive sweat glands, so of course this can be a problem for anyone. But when we're speaking about fat people specifically, their excessive sweating stems from them carrying around excess fat, which makes their body temperature higher than thin people. Excessive heat causes excessive sweating in the body, which unfortunately makes you stink. Tying thin people into this doesn't make fat people's sweating issues less true.
And then this American cultural obsession with the show My 600-Pound Life causes everyone to believe that all fat people have no ability to like wash themselves. But at the end of the day, your average fat person is probably even more overly hygienic than your average thin person. So my question to you is, why do you think that fat people aren't hygienic? What the fuck made you comment this?
Again, I don't think that the things we see on TV has the ability to distort our general perception of larger people. I think a lot of us have heard enough and experienced enough to know that quite a few fat people have an issue with maintaining their personal hygiene. But let me say this, I don't think it's a matter of them not wanting to practice self-care. I believe they struggle with it because they have a lot of extra rolls and folds that create moisture pockets when they sweat, which then comes into contact with bacteria, hence making you more susceptible to smelling like a sour cheesy foot. It's also common knowledge that they're unable to reach certain parts of their body, so it's virtually impossible for them to get into those rolls for a deep and thorough clean. Granted, the people on my 600-pound life do not portray the experience of a lot of fat people, but we're not going to pretend that being overweight doesn't directly affect and increase your chances of having severe body odor. No one thinks that all fat people don't have the ability to wash themselves. They just think that some of you are unable to do it adequately because of the mobility issues you inherited due to your weight. This is why some fat people have to go the extra mile with lotions, deodorant, and scents to mask the potential odor they tend to generate throughout the day. They have to shower more often than most, and are essentially forced to add additional steps to their routine that thin people never have to consider doing in order to avoid having body odor. So it's not necessarily that they have better hygiene than thin people, it's just that they have the tendency to smell more, so they have to do a lot more.
So this young boy reached out to me on Instagram and said, hey, listen, big dog, I need some hygiene advice. I'm 17, I live with Mama Love, and she does all my laundry, so I don't think it's my laundry, but every time I get out the shower, I stink. He said it doesn't matter what he does, he still stinks. And he said sometimes he can't smell himself, but he knows other people can smell him. Can you help me? I got you, big dog.
I just want to say I don't mean any disrespect to this creator. I think it's really sweet that he's giving advice to a young man that struggles with his hygiene. But I had to include it in this video to give you all a visual representation of what it's like for a large person to take a simple shower. I really want the fat community to understand why it's not completely unreasonable to assume that overweight people smell really bad. Because I've literally heard a lot of them say that they struggle to wipe themselves properly after using the toilet or just can't reach certain parts of their body when showering. When you hear that, it kind of becomes obvious why the stereotype exists. The person asking for advice said, sometimes he can't smell himself, but he knows other people can smell him. That just tells me that some fat people aren't aware of their body odor. He even stated that he'll get out of the shower and still stink. So it doesn't necessarily mean that they intentionally practice bad hygiene. It just means that they might be too fat to clean themselves properly. And when you're already prone to having severe body odor, and you can't wash yourself thoroughly, that's a perfect recipe for a sour smell. People aren't making this up just to be insulting. Fat people are admitting it themselves.
So you're gonna need 2 washcloths, big dog, okay? 2 washcloths. These are the key points you wanna hit, okay? Take the washcloth, lather it up good, whatever body wash you use, neck, chest, around the ear, shoulder, forearms. After the belly, we're gonna hit pits, under boob, side boob. There's 2 different, under boob, side boob. After you do that, you're gonna lift tummy up and you're gonna wash under tummy. You gotta get under there. Make sure you wash inside the belly button, especially the big dudes.
He's not joking. There was this fat kid I knew back in school that used to dig out his belly button and wipe his finger on some of the girls. No one knew he was doing it until someone outed him. He was pretty weird and no one really liked him because he used to do weird stuff like that. But oh my god, y'all, if he wiped his finger on you, you'd smell like literal shit for the rest of the day. I don't know if it was just his belly button or if everyone's can get that bad, but it literally smelt worse than an ass crack. I mean, look at this guy and how dirty his belly button is. I don't even want to know how long you'd have to avoid showering for it to get that dirty. I don't even want to imagine what that smells like because he's way bigger than that kid, so I just know it's extra funky.
Then you're gonna hike your leg up, like so, on the side of the tub. You're gonna get your legs good. Throw a little bit more body wash in there and get them grapes. You gotta get the grapes in between the thighs because your thighs touch all day. You're a big guy, your thighs touch all day. You need to be clean because it's a forest fire down there. After you get out of the shower, you dry off thoroughly. Thoroughly dry off. Now here's probably where you stink. I use Dove powder antiperspirant. You need to not use regular deodorant. You need antiperspirant. Especially if you're bigger or if you sweat a lot, you need that or it's not gonna take. And that's where you get that sour smell from.
Hey, real quick, have you subscribed, left a comment, or hit the like button yet? Because if you haven't, then I'd like to know why. Like, how have you not fallen for my adorable face and amazing content yet? Do I have to start making Amberlynn Reed videos? Is that what it takes? Because I'll do it. I swear I will. I'll even sacrifice my sanity and make foodie beauty content if you subscribe. I'm dead serious. Okay, this is getting embarrassing. Let's get back to the video. Please like, comment, and subscribe. You see, this is why I don't believe people are making this up just to degrade fat people. That man clearly doesn't qualify to be on my 600-pound life, but he had to meticulously list very specific instructions on the correct way to wash yourself as a bigger person. And usually, in spite of all these extra steps, they sometimes still have an odor. Some of them are fully aware of the hygiene issues that exist in their community, and others just rather act like they're oblivious to the truth and get offended whenever thin people call it out. It's unfortunate that people might automatically assume that you smell because you're fat, but after seeing those videos, it's pretty obvious why that is. Another thing I thought about is how financially draining it must be to purchase all the grooming products they need. Because if you think about it, they may need double the deodorant because they have to put it between their rolls and thighs, put it under their titties as well as use it for their armpits. Then you have to use extra soap and lotion because there's more skin to cover, balms and ointments for their rashes, powders to keep dry, etc. I mean, it's a lot to deal with. This is like reason number 22,238 of why it's terrible to be fat. And yes, I fully acknowledge that some fat people struggle to lose weight because of health issues. But for those who insist that it's fat-phobic to lose weight, or claim they're okay with being fat, like, why would you want this? Why would this way of life be appealing to anyone? Trust me, I get it, anyone can smell, but your fat specifically is the root cause of your overwhelming odor.
As a fat dude, I can tell you for a fact, the bigger you are, the harder time you have cleaning yourself. In other words, it's already stanky, it's even stankier.
And that, my friend, is why I don't think it's particularly fat-phobic to strive for a slim physique, because no matter how much I think about it, there's not a single good thing that comes with being fat. This has to be the most embarrassing thing that fat people have to deal with. I mean, if it doesn't apply to you as a fat person, then that's great, but it's honestly kinda annoying, and a little delusional that most of them deny it.
If you are ever in a public space and there is a distinct smell happening, 9 times out of 10, everyone will assume that that smell belongs to whoever the fattest person in the room is.
9 out of 10 times, this is the truth.
It is just assumed that fat people smell, and that's not true.
What is a stereotype as a plus-size woman that you don't like? Mine is that plus-size women smell and they don't know how to take care of themselves. Who are y'all messing with? Who are y'all messing with? Let me know.
There was a large portion of 2019, if not the whole 2019, where I literally couldn't shower. But yeah, I would bathe in bed and it wouldn't even be frequently.
There you have it. I don't think I need to add any more to prove that the stereotype wasn't created just to hurt fat people's feelings. This is a reality for a lot of them, even for those that haven't hit the 600-pound mark. So to conclude today's episode, I just want to say that I think everyone knows that not all fat people smell. Like this guy right here, I guarantee you he doesn't smell. Jesus, look at how much he's putting on. That's a bit much, but yeah. The overall point I was trying to make is it's true that anyone can have body odor, but unfortunately the stereotype specifically targets the fat community because on average they struggle to maintain their personal hygiene. But it's not because they're lazy and voluntarily choose not to. Please don't get mad at the messenger. I'm just trying to put the obvious into perspective and provide you with reasons as to why people think that way. Anyway, tell me what you think about today's video and whether you think my opinions on the topic are fair. I genuinely tried to let them do the majority of the talking, so people don't think I'm reaching. But you guys let me know if you think I am. Thank you so much for tuning in today, and please don't forget to like the video and subscribe to my channel. I had to sit through a lot of BS to make this, so please share this with your family and friends. I know they'll all appreciate you for it. Oh yeah, and Happy New Year to you all. Let's hope this year is better than the last because I don't know what the f happened in 2022. Love you guys. Bye-bye.
Why is it already stinking? Oh my goodness! It already stinks!